in the book, I introduced him to Billy Gibbons, who I knew pretty well, and that was amazing. And also Les Paul, who I met several times, and that was incredible. That was an amazing night. So yeah, it all evens out in the end, I think.
Yeah.
You mentioned in the book that he and Billy Gibbons left you.
Oh man, you know, it's like I met Billy in '74. I think it was about the third record, and we got along really well. The guy is funny and he's articulate. I mean, besides being just an astonishing guitar player and a songwriter, and you know his lyrics, you know, he's just a funny, nice, you know, Texas boy, and we got along great. I would interview him many times over the year. Again, I write in the book. He let me hang out at his house in Santa Fe, you know, and uh, I had reached out to Billy and I told him I was going to be at the show. And he said, yeah, man, come down to the show. And I think I had passed it to that show as well. So I'm thinking, okay, this is really going to be amazing. I know Billy and Edward are going to get along. So it's in that same big, you know, salon, whatever that room was in the Queen Mary, the same room. And Billy's almost standing in the same place. You know, we walk over and I can barely say Edward, Billy, Billy, Edward, man. And they're hugging and they're, you know, kissing and embracing. And I thought, this is how it's supposed to be, you know. And I mean, how could they not get along? You know, I mean, they're both in extraordinarily successful bands. You know, Van Halen's a 4-piece with Dave, but essentially it's a 3-piece with a singer, you know. So it's kind of both trios. They're both on Warner Brothers. Edward had played ZZ Top songs, you know. So yeah, it was amazing. And so they kind of, you know, they're arm in arm, and they kind of walk off, and they're walking into another room, and I'm kind of wandering behind him, and the door kind of closes, and I go, "That's as far as you go, Steve. You know, that's the inner sanctum, you know." And I hadn't earned that right apparently, and so yeah, they were talking, I don't know, man, for a half hour, and Ed comes out, and he's got a case, and I knew instantly what it was because Billy said he had something for me. And I thought, well, you know, I don't think Billy's going to give me his prize, the Pearly Gates Les Paul, but I knew I knew he was in partnership with, can't think of the guy's name, who made these little Chiquita guitars, you know. I thought, oh, maybe it's going to be one of those. I could tell by the shape of the case that's what it was. And I realized that he had given that to Edward, you know. So, you know, they walk out and I go, Ed, that's my fucking guitar. Just kidding, guys. I didn't say it. You know, so he gave it to Ed, and I thought, hey, you know what, I get it, you know. And, you know, from that moment on, I think those guys maintained a relationship, probably up until the day Ed passed. So I actually reached out to Billy, and they said, hey, man, it was great seeing you. And, you know, I felt so funny mentioning it. I said, hey, Billy, you know, the guitar. And he writes back, goes, oh, it was crazy that night, you know. I go, yeah, man, no problem. He goes, well, I'll send you one. And sure enough, Billy sent me one in the mail. Yeah, that was pretty amazing. That was a fun night. That was a fun chapter to kind of recall and go over and